Welcome back. I know we were going to go through the long rest, I promised, but we have one last time-bound adventure to take. So we're going to go talk to Asterion,
Good riddance to the shape changer. Couldn't have happened to a worse wretch.
and he's referring to throwing Orin into the trash.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
And we'll ask him to hop
I
into the
would,
party,
but you have so many friends already.
and he can replace Will or Gale, doesn't matter.
Well, in that case, I'm all yours.
And this is just a little solo adventure. We'll head to Basilisk Gate. And the newspaper is going to be publishing mean stories about us, so we'd like to stop that before it starts. And that's why we're time bound. Before we rest, we'd like to make sure that the vendors and people in town like us rather than dislike us. That's something that Gortash is doing. There are a couple ways to get into the printing house. We're going to take the obvious way, but if you look overhead, there's a broken wooden planks over the elevator shaft, so you can just go up on top of the building and break them and drop down. We don't need to do that. We're just going to walk right through the front door and over by the elevator, and we'll check our sight lines to make sure that we can crouch. So we'll do that, and then go into turn-based mode just to make sure that no one interrupts us. And we'll lockpick the door. Super easy. Our bonus is higher than the difficulty. And we'll open the door while we're hidden. We can exit turn-based mode, no problem now. And we'll cast invisibility. And we'll go in and click on this lever. That takes us downstairs to the basement of the printing house. We're just going to run all the way to the other side. There are a whole bunch of different article templates around this building, but the one that we need is already in the room. We can just open the door, close it because we're going to end up being visible for a while. We don't want the Steel Watcher to see us. And we'll come over and we're going to talk to the printing press.
You approach the printer, noting its ink splots and intricate cogs. Before you can get closer, however, it begins to speak.
Oi! Gormless! Over here! Thought I recognized you. Dolly was right. You aren't much of a looker.
So Dolly Thrice was the pixie that we let out of the Moon Lantern in Act 2. And we'll guess that it's another Fae that needs freeing.
I'm not trapped, you fool! This printing machine is just marvelous. With nothing like it in the Feywild. This is my paintbrush. I make sure everything that's in those big, ugly article blocks becomes fine printed artistry. I'm a master pensman, I am. Dolly can't stop talking about you. Hero this, hero that, hero here, hero there. Hello, hero. You know, there's some absolute filth about you in tomorrow's edition. Seeing as you were kind enough to free Dolly, how's about I do you a favor? Why don't we change the headline? We can load up something a bit less damaging for your reputation.
And we'll say, sounds good to me.
Well, first, I've got to release the old nasty top story. Oop, there. Now, you've got to find a new article to replace it.
And we'll say we'll get on with that.
Hurry up, then.
The one we're looking for is, of course, a positive article about us. It's going to be in the trash. And here we find this article. It says, adventurers are best hope for the city. Right? And this says it would do wonders for our reputation if we put it in print. So we'll take that.
There's a broadsheet article engraved upon it. It speaks positively of you.
So even the narrator confirms that this is a good story to put in. He doesn't want us to make any mistakes.
Oh, you've returned. Ready to show some discord?
We'll say absolutely.
How delightful.
That's going to prompt the insert block, and we'll just put that in. And we get some more inspiration. I think this is...
Paper's printing right now, pal. Should be on the streets tomorrow.
So we're all good on that. I think this is one of the luckier runs I've ever done in this game. I haven't used very much inspiration. But it comes fast and furious, and we still have a bag with a whole bunch of books in it. You probably do too. So it was a bit overkill. And we didn't even grab all of the books. There's some here in Act 3 and at least one in Act 2 we didn't use. So now that we're invisible, we'll walk through the door, close it behind us if we want to. We don't need to. This whole area is not available for map travel. And this quest is quite a lot easier once the steel watch has been disabled. And I can see why you might want to wait for that, but low risk for Asterion. He's still got both of his spells for the day, so we'll just walk right out.
We know you will drive back the army of the Absolute and raise our city to its pinnacle.
So that's it for the newspaper thing, and we'll head back to camp. And probably, get tied up in these twisting vines.
Let's get going.
And now we'll just go through and talk to everybody in our camp to make sure that we're up on their personal dialogues and quests before we head into our first rest.
Orin was a monster, whatever her form. Suppose growing up somewhere like this would make a monster of anyone. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh, we're not interested in the Astral Touch Tadpole on this playthrough. We'd have to convince our companions to use it, and it varies. Some of the companions are more willing than others, depending on if they've used tadpoles before and that sort of thing. We're not using tadpoles on this run.
Need something?
So we're current on Gale and Asterion, which makes sense. We've
Way forward.
been staying up on their quests. We have gotten Cazador. Let's talk about Karlach.
Hells take that Baal freak. She would have bled the whole world just for the fun of it. We've got her Netherstone now. One step closer to getting the Netherbrain under control.
And that's true. If we take a look, should be Orin's Netherstone. We also picked up Orin's Dagger, Bloodthirst. This is another one that will reduce the critical hit requirements by 1. We're not really doing the archery, stealth archery thing, but we certainly could.
What's on your mind?
And we're current on Karlach. We'll talk to Volo as well.
It is splendid to see you again, my friend. If you hadn't saved me from that mob, I'd be penning a guide to the afterlife based on first-hand experience. Perhaps you would hazard a guess as to why the mob turned on me?
That's a bit of an in-joke. I think Volo in the actual Forgotten Realms has died multiple times. He seems to be protected by the goddess Mistra. So we could say any of these decades of lies and misinformation is pretty funny. We'll just say that he's speaking out against the cult of the Absolute.
It is not the eyes that I fear. It is the intelligence behind them. The Absolute is merely the outward form of something far more insidious. The Lord of Murder has returned. As he did 100 years ago, Baal has set his accursed sights on Baldur's Gate. And his temple runs red with the blood of the innocent. Orin is his chosen. And like Sarevok before her, she is able to take on the savage form of the Slayer. If the Slayer is not stopped, it will slaughter every living thing in this city. As one of those things, I'm particularly eager to stop it. And there is a way. I have a study of the beast, penned by the wizard Irenicus himself. It contains all of the knowledge needed to slay the Slayer. Now, I just need a brave adventurer, willing to face Baal's chosen, and to put the knowledge into practice.
We'll just point out that she's already dead.
You triumphed over Baal's chosen? Marvelous! Such a historic deed must be documented in every gory detail. You and I shall pen the book of your experiences together. But I suppose you'll have to deal with the Illithids first. Please do tell me when you've thwarted every apocalypse that's currently in motion.
Will do. If we had talked to him beforehand, we can get this book on defeating the Slayer, which gives us some bonuses in combat against Orin.
I would be lying if I told you I was certain we would walk out of that temple alive. We faced Baal there once before, and I was not ready to count on luck a second time. But luck had no part in it. Just you. And now it is Gortash's turn. We'll need his stone to finish this, however you plan to acquire it. So let us go pay Lord Lyre a visit.
And we're current on Jaheira's quests as well. Oftentimes the companions will all have something to say after a major plot point. We've skipped a lot of those, but it's fun to follow up. That's just in the interest of trying to keep the video series short. Feel free to talk to your companions way more often than I have. It's fun to see, and the companions are the reason to play the game.
Is something burdening you?
So here we've got a lot of dialogue. Let's talk to Lae'zel a little bit. The first thing we'll ask is about the egg that we picked up in Act 2.
The egg grows ever warmer, the hum of life within it louder. It may yet hatch, though not soon by my estimation. Give it to me. Perhaps it will fare better under my care.
We can ask if we should call her Mommy. Sure.
Only if you want me to roast you over a campfire, using my blade as a spit. But it is true that I feel some manner of responsibility for this unhatched whelp. After we free Orpheus, we can revisit the matter. If the egg hatches beforehand, well, we will shield it from the Lich Queen's zealots. Whatever may come, I will not let Vlaakith poison the fledgling with lies.
So we'll hand her the egg.
Thank you. I know it is a mere egg. It may never hatch. If it does, it might beget a failure. But it might also beget a fighter. And I intend to give it the chance.
And the only reason that we even had the egg was because she was abducted and her inventory was sent to us. So if we take a look inside, we sent this bag. Because it was so heavy, we sent it to camp. And this is what she was carrying in her inventory, and that included the egg. So we'll dump all the stuff back out and see about going through it, maybe at a later date. We're seriously overburdened in the amount of stuff that we've picked up over the course of the game. We don't need any of this. We've got enough money that we could sell to get whatever items it is that we would want. We're well equipped for explosives, much more than we need. We'll follow up with Lae'zel a little more.
Is something burdening you?
And we'll talk about Orpheus.
What about him?
Why is he the Prince of the Comet?
The historical slates describe Orpheus as a fearsome, terrible creature, powerful beyond measure, and enthralled by the Geich. So mad with power, he'd smash through the Githyanki Empire and deliver the shards to his illithid masters. And glowing with such psionic force that he and his red dragon blazed a trail through the skies. A lethal comet careening towards my people. Lies, of course. Vlaakith spread a false image of Orpheus as monstrous betrayer, and her knights as the butchers who sliced him through. She was right to fear him, I'll grant her that. So great is the comet, it could shatter her reign.
We'll ask why Vlaakith kept him around.
The Emperor may be loathsome, but it's right. Orpheus can disrupt a Geich hive mind. A talent like that makes the Prince a powerful shield and a powerful weapon. Why destroy a weapon like that, when you can contain it in a relic and keep it for yourself?
We'll ask why she might want Orpheus dead now.
A weapon is only an asset for as long as it isn't pointed at you. The means of Vlaakith's own end has been ripped away from her. Better to have Orpheus killed than to risk his escape. Better to risk the rise of illithids than let the Prince of the Comet deny her the godhood she craves.
And we'll ask about the Honor Guard.
Orpheus is honor guard, loyal to the end. Trapped by Vlaakith in the same prism holding their noble prince, fruitlessly hacking at the sphere that contains him. They see us as Geich, tadpoled husks in the Emperor's thrall. I regret their deaths, but I pledge to live as they perished, in the service of Gith's son.
And we'll turn on to other matters. And we're current then on Lozelle as well. We talked to Minx.
My friend, now we have settled the matter of the guild. I fear there is something I must tell you. You and Boo both. It may shock you both to know, but Minsk and this Stone Lord, they are one man. The same one man. And that same one man is Minsk.
We'll point out that we are aware of that. But I find when talking to Minx, it's funnier to play along, so we'll just say it cannot be so.
Please, my friend. Your noble tears will not make the confessing any easier. I wish to believe the Stone Lord's evil was the worm alone, tainting my thoughts with foul dung. But I see now, the dung was within Minsk all along. So I wonder, if Minsk can be a villain, and Nine Fingers a hero, must it be so with all creatures? Is there good and evil within us all? Boo calls this nonsense. Less thinking of bad thoughts, says he, and more breaking of bad bones. But still, I would hear what you have to say on the matter, my friend.
Very philosophical. We'll look through here, whatever one works for you, and we'll just say that I think it's everyone has the potential for good.
I see. In the case of Nine Fingers, perhaps it was all bunched up in that finger she lost. It shall be for Minsk and Boo to be her virtuous pinky. It is strange. A worm sits within my skull, twisting my thoughts. But it is you that have made Minsk see the world anew. You, my friend, are the true parasite. There is good and evil in all. Let us go crack villainy skulls, so that the virtue might leak free. Yes, Boo. I am becoming something of a philosophizer.
We'll ask to learn more about him. And we'll ask about the term he used.
It is a phrase in the old tongue of Rashiman, meaning blunt blade. Even in the very belly of their battle rage, a berserker must always know friend from foe. A berserker who cannot must into battle with a blunted sword, so that their rage might harm none but themselves.
So we'll take the Bard option.
Boo and I, we thank you for your kind words, my friend. But Minsk knows when he has made a mess that is for him and him alone to clean. But still, I will strive to be worthy of this faith you show in me. After all, even a blunt blade can break some bones, is it not so?
And we'll follow up again just to make sure we're current.
Another ball spawn buried by our hand. Ball should learn better than to send his offspring against us. They might as well be babes, dropped bare bottom into the Rashiman winter.
So he defeated Ballspawn before in the earlier titles. We'll ask to know a little bit more. And we'll say that he's not dumb.
How dare you? Minsk pretends at nothing, half the way or otherwise. There is more than a little to know, I think. I am huge.
So we'll ask about being a statue.
Ah, you come in search of stories. It is not yet time to tuck Boo in for the night, but very well. After our adventurings with the Ballspawn, Boo had had his fill of godly flesh. So, we returned to Baldur's Gate for a time. After all, in every city there is a sweaty underbelly, crying out for a virtuous scrubbing. None better to wield a brush than Minsk and Boo. Perhaps we rubbed some villain's rump a little too raw. This Minsk does not know. One moment we stood in the city's slums. The next, ambush! Then Minsk and Boo woke on the wide, with stone dust in sensitive places.
So that's how he became the Stone Lord?
Aha! Perhaps this is the reason, Boo. It is not because of the legendary thickness of my skull.
And we'll say you never saw who did it?
The mind of Minsk was occupied with important matters. I was browsing a slum vendor's stall, looking for Boo's favorite nuts. And then, I was stoned. For Minsk, those years passed as quick as a hiccup. It was long ago, then, hic! It is now.
We'll ask him what he thinks of the New World.
I do not like these metal men on the streets, or the villains who hide behind them. But the New World is not so different to the Old One. The city still clings to the hill. The sea still stretches on forever. And the stench of evil still makes Boo wish for a tiny peg on his nose. As long as that stench remains, no matter how old or young the world is, Minsk and Boo will not rest.
We'll ask about the events of Baldur's Gate 1.
Countless tales are told of Boo and Minsk. Many of them are so outlandish that even I do not know if they are true. Did Minsk bravely fend off the seductive vials of a succubus in the cloisters of Candlekeep? Maybe. Did he take a bath in the river Styx and temporarily forget himself? I do not remember. Did he travel with a spawn of the god of murder, who warred against his evil brethren and battled triumphantly at the throne of Baal itself? Of course! It was a splendid adventure.
And we will ask how he could trust the spawn of an evil god.
A curious question. Are a child and his father always alike? Take Minsk. He does not have a clear memory of the face of his father, but he does remember tugging on the thick, red whiskers that sprang from his chin. A beard for the ages. Who could have nested there happily through even the harshest of Rashomon winters? Now, look closely at Minsk, and what do you see?
We'll point out that he doesn't have a beard.
Correct! There are more whiskers on Boo's tiny face than on the mighty chin of Minsk. If Minsk did not inherit the flaming red hair of his mother, or the bushy red beard of his father, why would the spawn of Baal inherit his wickedness?
We will say that's surprisingly insightful.
I have many more thoughts about beards to share. I did not know you cared to hear them.
We'll ask about what we saw when our minds mingled.
Oh, the mind of Minsk is a simple place. Of what strangeness do you speak?
The memories resurface. A lifetime of battles blurring into one. A single constant is Minsk, launching into the fray no matter the foe, be they god, monster, or man. It seems just the barest glimpse of what the man before you has seen and done, but enough to know that he has no right to still be alive.
Ah, wait! That look in your eye. I know exactly what visions of Minsk you have seen to cause you such wonder. My pants. Thrice laced, in the Rashomon style, so that a berserker might split skulls without fear of splitting breeches, too. They are fiendishly complex, but fear not for Minsk. With training, he has learned to master the many little knots.
We'll point out that they didn't sing about that.
The bard, says Boo. They conspire not to safeguard our trousers, but to rid the world of pants entire. So still that wandering eye, my friend. You have met your match in the tailors of Rashomon. On this matter of sharing memories, I see no reason for us to worry at one another's words. If there is more we wish to know, we can simply ask, no?
Right. We'll say a warrior speaks their mind.
Exactly so. If I must peer into the mind of my enemy, I use an axe. For friends, there is ale. No, my friend. If you fear you have a question that Minsk cannot answer, then you can simply ask Boo.
And we'll say that he's quite quick to call his friend.
Of course, my friend. Or are we not friends?
We will say that we are, of course, friends.
Then you have a sword at your side and a hamster at hand, whenever you need them. Unless I die, or you die, or you do anything at all to upset Boo. Now, does Boo see a question in your eye, or just a parasite poking through?
We'll ask about the hamster.
Well, Boo, explain yourself. Clear enough?
We will say that we can't understand him because we can speak with animals.
Can you not? Do you not see his noble bearing? The deep wells of wisdom that are his eyes? Boo speaks of much. Perhaps one day, you will be ready to listen.
And we'll speak of something else. And that gives us current with Minx. He's fun to talk to. We'll follow up with Shadowheart.
That's Orin dealt with. Good riddance. Now that we have her Netherstone, we're one big step closer to finishing this. Once and for all.
All's well, I hope? Aside from the obvious.
So she wants us to talk to the Shar followers to figure out where her cloister is.
I hope so. So long as I'm willing to stroll right into the Mother Superior's trap, they have no reason to not tell me where to go.
We'll ask what to look
Worm's
for.
Crossing is a choke point. If I wanted to intercept a new arrival, I'd find somewhere before the bridge, blend in amongst the crowds, and wait. Most people seeking entry to the city will be refugees. I'd look wherever they're gathering.
So she sort of explains where to go to find the guy.
All's well, I hope? Aside from the obvious.
So we're not interested in any of these options. We're current. And we'll talk to Will.
Baal's chosen has been bled. May her torment be tenfold of that which she inflicted.
And we're current with Will. And I think that just leaves Halson.
The blight that was Orin has been purged from the world. And we have another Netherstone also. A significant step towards stopping this evil once and for all.
We'll ask about Thaniel.
I have. He speaks to me during my nightly meditations. He is well. And Oliver also. At times they are one, and at others they divide. Easier for playing, perhaps. And the land thrives also. I doubt you would recognize it. Perhaps one day, you and I can both return and see it for ourselves.
And that's it. We've already asked how we're holding up. And that is all of our companions. So we followed up with everybody. And we'll head over to end the day.
Let's see.
I take that back. Actually, we haven't talked to Withers. We could ask where Arabella has gone to.
Thou walkest alone. On all these harsh nights, thou hast sought no company.
Yes, well, I don't want to do that for YouTube. So we'll say we don't want a partner.
Love is no domain of mine, but it is often cited as the purpose of mortal life. Wherefore turnst thou from it?
I appreciate that Withers is interested in our love life. We're just going to say we don't want to talk about it.
And thus thou art alone. Fate spins along as it should. Dost thou require a new ally? Or mayhaps a resurrection instead?
So we're okay on either, but we'll ask about Arabella.
The girl has left to hew her own path. She left behind a letter, as thou dost know. Hast thou other business?
And we'll leave. And pointing that out, we can find the letter. It varies by location in which camp you're in. But essentially she says that she's going off. And we can find her in the sewers, and we'll do that in a different video. But we're going to end the day on this one.
Sorore surge, testis esto pacti me. Come, sisters, be my testament. Notum sit in Beator.
Notum sit in Beator.
You've heard of such devils. Sisters of justice. Adjudicators of diabolical contracts and bargains.
Holy hells.
We'll say that we don't recall sending out invitations.
You do not call upon the sisters. They come when the hells demand witness.
Enough, Mizora. Where is my father? How do I save him?
How else? We bargain. Sisters.
Infernos contractos te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus. Infernos contractos te vocamus.
Your contract, Will. Signed in blood, forged in fire, bound in bone, but not unbreakable.
So we'll just say, break it already.
No contract is ended without sacrifice. A cost must be paid. Will Ravengard, a choice is before you. Option 1. I show you the way to your father. I guarantee him no harm except that from you and your allies. And you pledge your soul to me and the Archdevil Zariel in a pact eternal. Option 2. I break your pact, and you are freed from your duty. Your father dies by his enemy's hand, and Baldur's Gate loses its greatest champion. Name your sacrifice.
Bloody Zariel. I won't let her take Will.
Silence, Karlak.
Mizora, you asshole!
Choose.
And we're going to say that it's time for Will to break his pack.
You damned wretch! Father. Do it. Break the pact.
Fiat Ita.
Fiat ita. Anima ad beator.
Didn't think you had it in you. Seems my boy's all grown up. And don't go fussing about your father. You made your choice. You knew the terms. You know what? I think I'll stick around. Not for the greater good, you understand. Just for the entertainment.
So that does not, in fact, automatically have Will's father die. We're going to save Will's father either way. But he'll want to talk about it, so we'll run down and chat with Will.
Gods, I spent 7 years choked by Mizora's leash. And I spent 7 years hoping to break free. I never knew freedom could taste so bittersweet.
So we'll say that we thought he never regretted taking the pact.
I didn't. I don't. My sacrifice kept Baldur's Gate safe from Tiamat's rage. But that doesn't mean that the leash never chafed. That I was content to lap up whatever nonsense Mizora fed me. The leash has been broken, and my father left for dead. Tomorrow I celebrate my gain. But today, I mourn my loss.
A moment passes. In the stillness, you find a mote of tranquility.
The Raven Guard name now lives solely with me. I will make it count for something.
We'll point out that his father's not actually dead yet, and we might save him.
I signed his life away before the Hell's Witnesses. It would be easier to drink the Styx down to the last drop than to alter his fate. I'd be a fool to wish otherwise.
We'll ask about our next step.
We obtain Gortash's Netherstone and take back our mines, and the city from the brain.
And we'll leave. And now that we've got everybody current, we'll head up to the campfire and go to bed. And we've missed someone. Who else wants to talk to us? Astarion. Okay. Probably concerned about Khazador. We also ended his quest today.
That's strange. Knowing I'll never hear Khazador's voice again. Knowing it'll never command me to bow against my will. I'm free from him. Forever.
We'll ask how it feels.
Invigorating. Terrifying. All of the above. I'm still trying to understand it, really. I came so close to losing everything back there. To losing myself. Back at the ritual, all I could see was the power on offer and the safety it promised. I was so blinded by it. Just as Khazador was. But you saw something in me. Someone else I could be. Someone who could break the cycle of power and terror that started centuries ago. You saved me back there. I may not have appreciated it at the time, but I do now. Thank you.
We just gave him a push.
You did more than that. You believed in me. Believed I was enough. Just the way I am. When I look at my future, anything and everything feels possible now. You saved me from myself. And let me walk a new path where I can be free. Truly, honestly free. This is a gift, you know. Thank you. I won't forget it.
Astarion is a better person for interacting with us. Still not a perfect person, but a better person. And we'll go to bed. We've had a very active day, so we'll use camp supplies, and we'll take a full rest. Okay, lots of updates. This is where we're going to end this video. It's kind of a long one, and I'll catch you in the next where we start adventuring again. See you there.